Absolutely gorgeous. Superior, please confirm signal's fine. Thank you. Gonna have a stretch. A big cat. I'm wondering if that's not a tom. I'm gonna sneak a bit closer now.
Give me a sec that I can see this.
That stretch. Yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
Let's have a look, see if these impala have seen these cheetahs. Can't secure any alarm calls as yet. Actually, Herman, we need to be a little bit more to the east of them, get better sunlight on them. This way, and we get to see the impala straight ahead of us. Still, we'll possibly get closer to the cheetah, but I don't want to right now. The impala are somewhat alert, but they don't seem to be alarming at all. This must be a mother and youngster. You can still see a little bit of fluff at the back of the head of the youngster lying down. She's a big cheetah. She's a big individual. Very big individual. We are so lucky. And the last 2 times I've seen cheetah here have been very fleeting glimpses on the edges of our traversing range as they've crossed over corners. There was that one big male, I think both times were with Peter. There was one time at the junction of Zoe's and Gowrie Main, and then he crossed over onto the other side of Gowrie Main, and then there was another experience with a mother with her 2 youngsters on Cheetah Cutline junction with Biffles or Cutline, and then they crossed into Torchwood very quickly. So we're very, very lucky to have them actually resting up in the open area. She's quite alert. That beautiful sphinx-like pose, which is very typical of a cheetah. Go ahead, Sipiwe. Confirm from Jenny. Oh, okay. Jamie wants to know if cheetah are bigger than leopard. Jamie, cheetah are very much taller than leopard. I think body weight they can be pretty much the same weight. Cheetah are just taller, longer, and very slimmer than leopard. Leopard are very short-legged, stocky, round-bodied. muscular cats. Cheetah have given up all that muscle for their lithe, thin, athletic frame. So cheetah will stand a lot taller than a leopard. If I could just quickly get an idea from. I don't think I can even find the height that they stand. I'd say body measurements are very, very similar in terms of the length of the body, the length of the tail. We're looking at this big cheetah female. She's probably about as long as say a big tom leopard maybe, but she's going to stand very much taller than him. Okay, little ones getting a bit playful and relaxing. They're relaxing a bit. The impala feeding. Things are relaxing enough for me to move. I want to get a little bit closer so we can see some finer details of these cheetah. We can zoom in on some finer details. It does take us a little bit further down the slope, so hopefully we're still going to get some signal there. I don't want to be blocking Hilton's view, so I didn't want to try and be careful. I don't want to be blocking the view of the impala, of the cheetah's view of impala. I also don't want to be drawing too much attention to the cheetah. You're welcome, Pamela. Pamela asking us about cheetah this morning, and it's not very often that we're lucky enough to have somebody asking about cheetah and why we don't see them very often, only to then have this wonderful opportunity to be able to sit with them. And I'm just trying to move into a position where the impala are directly behind the cheetah, and at the moment the cheetah are just hidden from view. So the impala, if the impala, oh, got color bars. That must be signal. Huh?
Is it back, I don't know.
Is it back now or not?
I still don't understand. Is it back or not?
Confirm we have picture. Thanks, Sapira. Sorry, lost picture there briefly. I don't know if you can see, Herman, from your angle, whether you can see any of the impala in the distance. But I've tried to position us in a way that the impala, this is all straight line from us to, look at this little one. It's getting a little bit restless, wants to play. A good chance it had some siblings once upon a time. I'm really sad that we don't see them that often, because it's really wonderful keeping track of cheetah the way we do lion and leopard. And I have done in the past. My younger days, there were times when I was very lucky to be able to follow cheetah and their cubs right throughout the lives of the cubs. We are not in a great position to see them and some of the features I wanted to talk about, mostly because they got their back to us now. But method my madness for the time being. We do have some time here. We might have to do an official close down at 9:30, but I think under the circumstances I'm quite happy to sit here for a little bit longer if the batteries are not going to be beeping on us. Hello, gorgeous child. It's like a young female. Very striking feature of a cheetah that is very different to that of a leopard's features are that distinctive black tear mark running from the eye down to the corner of the mouth, that we call the tear mark, or the tear line. And supposedly a black line that helps absorb light and glare for a diurnal hunter. We know that a lot of the diurnal aerial hunting birds, like bee-eaters and rollers and things, have all got, and shrikes for that matter, have these black masks. Difference in the tail of the leopard and the cheetah? Well, the similarity is the white tip to the tail. That's got a lot to do with body language. But the one major difference is a leopard's tail, very, very rounded, very, very thick, very muscular, to help with balance in a tree during climbing, as opposed to, if we can make it out, the tail of the cheetah, which is flattened, what we would call dorsoventrally, vertically flattened. And it actually does act as a rudder during high-speed chases. I think she's just seen some movement now for the first time. Maybe not the first time. I think she's... maybe not. There's a very thick bush that just hides her from the impala and hides the impala from her view. I think if she saw them, she would skirt the edges of the open area and chase them onto the open area. There's a very good chance that can happen too. Gloria. Gloria. Gloria, how do cheetah hunt? Socially, in groups, or rather collectively, like lion, or do they hunt solitary? Kind of a little bit of both, Gloria. But generally, they're solitary hunters, and generally, oh, she bowled her daughter over. Very much more cat-like in their movements and their rubbing and their. There's just so much. Although actually they, in a genus, are all on their own. Acinonyx. Also, the only big cat that purrs. But Gloria, cheetah generally hunt on their own. I mean, under the circumstances, if she was to go hunting, this youngster wouldn't play any role in the hunt whatsoever. She would demand that it stays behind and gets out of the way. Very important in cheetah that the youngsters view the hunt, that they watch what's happening, and that is possible only because they hunt in open areas. And one of the reasons why cheetah hunt, or a cheetah's hunting ability, is something that is more learned than instinctive, as it is with leopard, because leopard, being a predator that lives in relatively thick bush and being a solitary animal, there isn't really an opportunity for all young leopards to actually watch their mother hunt under most circumstances. And so for this particular cheetah, she will hunt alone, but then different circumstances require different things. So if you have a situation where you have, say, 3 sub-adults, or even go back beyond the 3, before they become 3 sub-adults, 3 siblings growing up with their mother, it's not that they hunt collectively or cooperatively. It's more that they try and hunt the same animal, and each one is trying to bring it down on their own. I have seen 2 male cheetah that I watched for many hunts, where one would chase the animal into the other one. Look at this, playing. She wants to concentrate on things, and little one just wants a game. I could see that coming actually earlier, when little one was rolling and rubbing on the ground. Look at that incredible emotional sort of moment there between the two, and then she kicks her off. Leave me alone, child. I'm looking for lunch, breakfast, dinner, all three of the above, since we haven't eaten for a day or two. Looking at that hollow in their tummy. But also that kind of behavior of the youngsters is likely to spur the mom on to go off and find something. I seriously don't think she knows that those impala are there. Brian asking any guesses on the age of the cub. I didn't even think of that when I was looking at it. I've got to think back to my days of watching cheetah. I would say probably about 9 months old, maybe.
As I'm leaving Markham, lost with these two strong kinds of Swallow Ponds on Mile Ocean area.
Thanks, Hilton. I don't even think she's seen those marla. I don't think he's got his radio on. Anyways, all ours. Lodges are gone back. And now that they have left, I'm going to move so we can see it. We can get a different view once again. I want to maximize our time with her and her youngster. Okay, that was just, sorry madam, sorry. Okay, I'm going to back off. Youngster didn't get up, but she did. Mike! Are cheetah members of the cat family? Because they don't have retractable claws. So much for being on our own. We're not. I can see another vehicle. Was that on Triple M?
She's going, I think she has seen that
heading
marla.
Straight to the impala. And she's keeping hidden. That was just a vehicle on Triple M. We'll just stop here for a minute. Mike, cheetah are members of the cat family. And they don't have retractable claws, but they do have protractile claws. In other words, they can extend their claws. They can't, not that they can't draw them in. It's just an evolutionary adaptation to their method of hunting. Now, leopard and lion tend to stalk their prey, so they need to be quiet. Their claws need to be retracted. She's now going into hunt mode. You can see her. She's starting to stalk. Very light. She's quite skinny. Youngster's now taking note of her posture. I don't know if I can do it this time, but I've been able to be in cheetah hunts where it has been my luck to have them actually pull the impala down virtually in front of the vehicle. But here, youngster is learning from mom, trying to copy mom in her posture. Unfortunately, unless youngster stays put, youngster's the one that can mess up the hunt by doing something too quickly. We're going to try and keep up with them as they're creeping closer. Now, this kind of stalking is not meant to be quiet, so cheetah doesn't need to retract its claws, as opposed to a leopard that has to stalk very close to its, and a claw that is not, well, claws that are not retracted will make a noise. So at rest, some of the cats, their claws pulled in, so it's only their pads that make the noise. Well, they don't make a noise really. pads that are silent. And since they have to use speed more than anything else, eating spikes really, that's what it's more about. Cheetah, the kind of running predator that it is. Okay, she's still a little bit too far to make a dash for it now. The impala are getting some hint that something's up. She's got to get about half this distance before she can make a rush at them. And she's probably going to wait until she can see them relaxing, see some of the tails flicking, before she tries to make a move again. And she's going to stalk more from not being seen and rather than being heard, because I don't think the impala are going to be able to hear her at this distance anyway. And that burst of speed that she needs, she's going to need those claws at rest, extended, or rather present, for want of a better word, when she's running, digging into the ground, giving her grip. Remember, an animal is not running in a straight line. They are zigzagging. There are obstacles constantly in their way. They've got to leap over things. They've got to run around things. The prey species is zigzagging, trying to get away, and the cheetah needs to be chasing it and changing direction constantly. That's where this flattened tail comes in, helping to throw the body weight to one side, also aerodynamically helping it to turn to some degree. I mean, if anybody's ever driven a car at, say, even 50 kilometers an hour, 35 miles an hour, which is pretty slow for a hunting speed for a cheetah, and you put your hand out the window and angle it into the wind and see how the wind moves your arm up and down, that's pretty much what happens when a cheetah is in a full tilt running after an animal, using that tail not only for balance but helping to turn, helping it steer, and similar to that of a rudder of a boat. It is getting a bit hot in the sun, so having moved to the shade is something she would be doing anyway. Not picking up any radio transmission there. If you were trying to say something. Just looking at the time, we're getting close towards the end of drive time. Hoping that we've still got signal here. Speedway, come in. Final control, do you copy? I don't know. Let me move just in case we don't have signal.
Superior, confirm we have signal here.
Not getting them on my radios. I don't think we'll get them.
I just heard a.
Yeah. Okay, copying you now. Yeah, I just need to know if we got signal. I'm not sure if we had signal there. Okay, copy that. Well, folks, this has been Mark and Herman on the jigger for our first drive after coming back from leave. Tara and Sipiwe back in final control. We're going to be closing off the drive for now. We're still going to be with the cheetah after we close off and see what happens. This is getting far too interesting to disappear. But from Mark on the vehicle and Herman on the camera, thanks for joining us. And we're looking forward to the next 6 weeks of fun with you. Bye for now. Okay. Thank you, Tara, and you're back with us, because there's no way we can go anywhere right now. These impala are sort of edging a little bit closer this way. They seem to be relaxing a little bit more, and this could take another hour or two to manifest, but something is going to happen very soon. I'm looking at the distance between this cheetah and these impala, probably less than 100 yards. She needs to be a little bit closer to make a rush. There's a little bit too much in the way of long grass and obstacles, fallen trees, and some bush. She should, if she was like any other cheetah I've known from my past, skirt around the edge of the open area, along the edge of the bushland, the bush, and come at them from behind so that they run out into the open area at this angle that she's at. If she gets seen, they're going to run into thicker bush. It's going to hinder her chances of making a successful hunt. But as it goes right now, they are wandering a little bit closer, directly out of line of sight of her. Well, they can't see her. She can obviously see one or two of them on the fringes. But if they were, let's say, 90 yards a couple of minutes ago, they're now 85. And some of them edging closer and closer as I speak. They need to halve that distance before she can do anything. That will give her a remote possibility of success. I'm still talking about their claws, their retractable claws, protractile claws. Well, cheetah are cats in every other way. The fact that they don't have retractable claws doesn't take them out of the cat family. But what it does do is it does create different physiology, which takes them away from the genus Panthera, which are the lion and leopard, and puts it into a category of its own in the subfamily of in the genus of the different genera of that cats have. This is the cheetah's name is Acinonyx jubatus. The smaller cats are known as Felis, Felis, and the other genera within the feline family. She's getting a bit nervous with birds that are flocking around her. There's some starlings hanging around in the buffalo thorn that are also likely to disturb her hunt. As soon as she starts moving and they start calling, shouting at her, there's a good chance that will draw the attention of the impala. Well, in front of the herd, I see one ram there. In front of the herd is now even a few yards closer. Copy, thanks for PWA. Please repeat that name. Scatterling of Africa. One of our scatterlings is asking a question. How similar are cheetah to domestic cats with their purring and their tail wagging and their grooming? Very, very similar. In fact, closer, I would say. I have to admit, much closer than lion or leopard. When I look at domestic cats, I love cats, and I love all cats. But when it comes to domestic cats, I can never understand why people don't like cats. But I can understand why some dog lovers don't like cats, to some degree. I don't fully understand it, but we won't get into the politics of dog lovers and cat lovers. Other than most dog lovers don't like cats, but cat lovers love dogs and cats. Go figure. But when I look at a domestic cat, I see the qualities of all the big cats. And that's from years of living with the big cats, as well as growing up with domestic cats and being very, very close to domestic cats. I've raised a cat from a day old. It was given to me by a dog. Well, no, it wasn't given to me. I had to take it away. It was a feral cat that was taken out of the veld by a little Jack Russell. and that's another long story. And her name was Duma, D-U-M-A, and it was only many years after I called her Duma that I discovered that the Swahili name for a cheetah is Juma, or rather Duma. I'm confusing this with Duma now. I mean Juma. I'm getting tongue-tied now with Dumas and Jumas. Uh-oh, something disturbed them from the back, and they actually ran. They ran towards us. Something gave them a spook from the back, so they are now suddenly a third closer than they were. Her head's gone flat. She got a little bit interested. She needs to get her youngster to stay low. But I'm rambling on because we're waiting for something to happen, and while we're waiting for something, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. They are hungry, and there is a there's a deli in front of them. But yes, watching domestic cats, I see the qualities of all of the big cats. But most of all, I see the quality. I see cheetah when I see domestic cats, and having watched cheetah so much in my life, I first see cheetah, and then every now and then a domestic cat does something that looks like a leopard, and every now and then, especially in a situation where you've got more than one domestic cat in a social situation, you start seeing the odd quality of the lion, especially when domestic cats are sleeping. Then they mostly resemble lion. But there's so much more to a cheetah's behavior that has domestic cat behavior in it. And yeah, purring is one of them. The tail movements, I think, is universal with all the cats. It doesn't always mean the cat is angry when the tail is wagging. Sometimes it's playful, sometimes it's... Well, there's a range of emotions in the tail movements of a cat and the ear movements of a cat. And if we look at her and see how flattened her ears are. Now there are times when that posture with the ears could mean outright aggression. But there's a subtle difference between the aggression shown by ears flat of a cat and this kind of ear movement where she's flattening her ears because she doesn't want them to stick up above her head. She doesn't want to be seen. She doesn't want to be standing out above the grasses that they're going to see her, because if they see her, they're going to move off in the other direction. And as it is now, they're coming slowly they're coming closer and closer. I'm not in a great position for the hunt if it happens, but right now we're in no position to move. Sometimes one can almost read what will happen in a hunt, and you can almost position yourself in a way that it'll work. I think where Hilton was earlier, he was sitting in a pretty good place for it to happen. But we've now got ourselves in a situation where these impala directly ahead of us, they're still coming closer and closer, and she is just about, 10 o'clock to our left. Distance between them can't be more than 50 or 60 yards by now. They need to come in a little bit more. Come into my lair, said the spider to the fly. If that young cheetah doesn't sit down, it's going to mess up the hunt. But she can't take her eyes off of the impala to see what the youngster is doing to reprimand it, so she's just going to have to live with whatever happens right now. If they see her and they make a bolt for it, she might just, for Dufka's sake, maybe just go for it and hope for the best. But we're also looking at a nice large herd of impala, and while it might look easy for her to rush at them and maybe get one, that's not really the way that it happens. She's got to watch them carefully, and she's got to look at the one that maybe isn't paying attention, not necessarily the one that is injured or old, because it might not be in a position for her to actually separate it from the herd. She's looking for that one impala that is like the ram now. She's looking for that one impala that is a little bit inattentive, and she's going to have to go for that impala and pretty much commit herself to that impala, and sometimes she will even have an easier catch to the side of her as she goes for that one, but it's more detrimental for her to change targets mid-hunt than it is for her to actually bring one down that she's aimed for, even if it is next to her. So I took my eyes off the cheetah. Where's she gone? Or is she gone flat? Now that looks like little one there.
No, that's mother.
Little one.
No, that's mother.
Is that mum? Where's little one?
Just closer, just next to her.
So then she's finally maybe made a slight chirp and told little one to lie down flat. Where are my binoculars? Pretty good question there, Pamela. Why is cheetah's head so small? A lot of it has got to do with power and weight and speed and the like. Look how flat she's trying to get flat. There's a female wandering off to the left of the herd that's likely to see her. I think she might be going. That's one that she might go for. She's moving.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's happening. She's off. Grass is slowing her down. She's going after some youngsters in the background. Oh my word. Youngsters also rushing off. Okay. Things have happened out of vision, out of sight of us. She didn't look like she was going in full speed there. The impala that ran off to the right into the open area were the ones that she should have gone for. But as I said, in fact, she pretty much did what I said. She had made a choice and she went for that one. The one that she went for happened to run into some very thick bush. And I'm hoping we're going to stay with this. You're going to stay with us with the signal.
There's still some impala
There's
running.
still some
all the way
impala
at the
running
back
at
there.
the background. And this herd of impala are now actually running back towards. They're snorting. They're trying to get a visual. Okay, I'm going to stop talking just in case we lose signal. I'm going to go and see what happened. We'll see if signal stays with us.
Watch out, watch out.
Okay, another question from Pamela. Oh, Gloria.
Oh, there they are. 11 o'clock.
Will cheetah attack the hyena? No, Gloria. Cheetah doesn't really attack anything. When a cheetah sees another predator, it runs away. Because much the same, they have small heads and thin bodies and athletic. They are not very powerful. They're not very strong animals. We're just going to stop here and see. She's I don't know, the youngster's off somewhere else. She's probably going to be calling it. Yeah, I can hear her calling it. It's like a bird sound. It's like very high pitched, cheap. Let's see if we get a bit closer to her. Maybe we can hear that. I'm not sure if she was successful. I don't think she was successful. Where's this youngster? Oh, this is youngster. So we're going to sit with little one because we don't know where mom is. There you can see it calling. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear it. It's a very low, high-pitched chirp. I don't want to try and mock the sound. I don't want to interfere right now. I think
it
mom
really
is
sounds
still...
like a bird sound.
Yeah. Can you hear it?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I've never heard this.
Now, a dilemma for this little one. It doesn't want to call so loud that it can be heard. There, it's now calling louder. That it can be heard by the likes of lion or hyena, because it is in... Even a leopard will kill this youngster. possible. If Mom made the kill, and Mom is now throttling that impala, so it's not going to be able to call back. Go away, fly. I'm busy now. Hoping that that sound is at least coming through, starting to call a little bit louder. If Mum isn't answering, as I say, it could be because Mum's got its mouth around the throat of an impala. And our best bet is to just wait and see what happens. We could try and look for Mum, but then we might lose them both. And it'll take a few minutes. If she did manage to catch one, might take a few minutes before she's able to catch her breath and call the little one. Yeah, I think she's just heard, unfortunately, a vehicle on the road drowning out the sound. We're very close to one of the very main roads that come into the reserve.
Oh, I heard it as well now.
Yeah.